Hello, I'm Sonia. Today we are going to make a jalapeno pie. I have no idea why it's called pie. It has nothing to do with a pie. It's more like a quiche or a casserole. But the four main ingredients are eggs, cheese, sausage, and jalapenos. That's it. Okay, the first thing we need to do is make the sausage. We're going to brown it and drain it. I like to use ground sausage. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention, we are doing this today in our RV. We are about to hit the road for about 4 months, and so we wanted to try out the kitchen before we actually get on the road so that we can kind of get an idea of how it's going to work in here. After you have made sure that your sausage is fully cooked, we're going to drain this. This was pretty lean. It did not have a lot of grease in it, but we are going to drain that little bit out. And we're going to go ahead and get the oven preheated. Now, since we are in an RV, if you're not in an RV, this does not apply to you. But since we're in an RV, we have read about these smaller RV ovens not working well for baking things. We got this at a local home improvement store. It was less than $1, and it is just an unglazed tile. And we made sure we measured the oven first to make sure that it was going to fit. And we put it in here right above this little shelf and below the shelf where the food's going to go. And that's just going to help distribute the heat around whatever you're baking. So let's go ahead and get the oven preheated. Now, normally I cook this on about 350 degrees. We're going to try it in this little oven at that same temperature, and we'll see how it does. Let's see. I think that's 350. So we're going to let that preheat. While it is preheating, we're going to go ahead and assemble the rest of the casserole. Yeah, there was not a lot of grease in there, so that's good. It's best to let the sausage cool a little bit first before you add it to the eggs, because you don't want it to be scrambling your eggs up. These are eggs from our chickens. Normally, if you buy store-bought eggs, I would suggest using medium eggs, medium or large. You don't want to have too much egg in this recipe because it gets really thick and it's not as good. When you make a thin layer of it with the sausage and cheese and jalapenos, to me it's just better. I like to add just a small, maybe not even 1/4 cup of water, just to dilute the egg mixture just a little bit. And then at this point, you're going to add some salt and pepper. I used pink Himalayan salt. Regular salt is fine. You don't want to add a lot because the sausage and the cheese is going to add a lot of salty flavor. We like a lot of black pepper, so just enough to taste. You're going to whisk your eggs. Okay. For this recipe, I am using a dozen eggs, 1 pound of ground sausage, 1 jar of jalapenos. 8 ounces, about 2 cups of cheese. That's a normal recipe: a dozen eggs, a pound of sausage, 1 jar of jalapenos, and 2 cups of cheese. That's the normal recipe. Now, if you want to double the recipe, that's fine, but don't double the amount of eggs. You don't want to use 24 eggs and 2 packs of sausage and 4 cups of cheese and all that. It just makes it too eggy. You want it to be thin, and if you're using a dish about this size, a single recipe serving is fine for this size dish. It's still going to be a little bit thick. One reason I love this recipe is because it is so versatile. If you want it spicier, you add more jalapenos or hot cheese or hot sausage. If you don't want it spicy at all, you can leave out the jalapenos altogether and just have a breakfast casserole. You can make one casserole dish using this, or you can buy the little disposable pans at the grocery store or Walmart or wherever. And you can also make bite-sized muffins with it as well, which these are great for potluck. I ordered these little silicone cupcake holders and they are fabulous. Just spray a little cooking spray on there and they don't stick and they clean up very easily. I can put these in the dishwasher and they come out fabulous. I also have this small muffin pan that makes bite-sized muffins, quiche, whatever you want to call it. We're going to call them jalapeno pies because that's what I've always called them. But you have these little bite-sized muffin pans that work well. My wonderful husband is going to grate this cheese because he knows I hate to do it. Normally I use about 2 cups of cheese. You can use any kind of cheese you want. Today we are using a mixture of grated cheddar cheese. We're going to put about a cup of that and then about a cup of grated pepper jack cheese. That'll give it a little bit of extra kick and it is so yummy. And by the way, we're using block cheese today and Tony is grating it for me because he knows I hate to grate cheese. You can use cheese that's already grated. Like I said, you can use any flavor you want, whatever you like. And yes, you can use the kind that's already grated and it will save you a little bit of time and energy. And by the way, this recipe is low carb. You're not skimping on any of the flavor. It is wonderful and it's very filling, but it is low carb, so it fits right in with how I like to eat. We like the block cheese because it usually has a little bit fewer carbs than the pre-shredded cheese because they coat it in something to keep it from sticking together. So, and to me, the block cheese and shredding it yourself just tastes so much better. Awesome. You can never have too much cheese. Okay, sweetheart, you can go ahead and add it to the egg mixture. Okay, our sausage has cooled down a little bit. Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to add this as well. Like I said before, if you put the sausage in here and it's too hot, it's going to cook your eggs and you don't want that. So, have our egg, cheese, and sausage mixture. Just gonna mix that around a little bit. Now, if you had doubled this recipe, just a regular recipe makes a lot. So if you double this, make sure you have two really, really big pans. First thing you want to do before you put any mixture in here is to spray it very good with cooking spray. Make sure you get in the corners and the crevices because it will stick. Okay, jalapenos. You want to put a layer of jalapenos down. Drain the juice. And you can either, I suggest wearing plastic gloves when you do this, when you handle the jalapenos. They have been known to turn my fingernails a greenish yellow color. It's not very attractive. And sometimes I chop these up before I put them in here. Today we're just going to pour them in. And I'm going to save some out for these muffin pans. I think we're just going to put one. We're going to make one muffin pan full. And you want to look for the pieces like this that have the little caps on them that are hard. I don't like those, so I'll chop them. Okay, so we put a layer of jalapenos in our muffin cups. Now I'm just spooning some of the egg, cheese, and sausage mixture on the top. You don't want to fill it all the way up to the top because this egg, the egg mixture will thicken up quite a bit. Don't overfill your muffin cups. Same thing with our casserole pan. You see I have a very thin layer here. It's going to thicken up. You don't want it to be too eggy. Or if you want to make it eggy, you can make it more eggy. But you want to make sure that it gets done in the middle. You don't want to have raw egg in there. what I had left from the muffins I added to the actual casserole. You can see it's still pretty thin and it's even. You want it to be flat because you don't want parts of it cooking faster than other parts. Okay, so we've got our oven preheated to 350. We're going to cook this part first. Slide that in there. And we are going to set our timer. Okay, we've set our timer for 30 minutes. It's probably going to take closer to 45, but since I've never used this oven before, I want to check it well before it's done so that we make sure we don't burn it. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes. It's looking golden brown on the top. Looks really good, actually. I think that's done. It's going to continue to cook a little bit because it is so hot. These eggs will set up a little bit more. They'll get a little firmer as it sits. We're going to let it sit a few minutes, and actually we're going to go ahead and put our muffins in there. So I had put the muffins in the refrigerator since it was going to be 30 to 45 minutes before they got cooked. So I didn't want the eggs to be sitting out. This cooked for about 30 minutes. Normally I would cook it somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, but because it's in this very small RV oven, it cooked a little faster than normal. So if you're cooking this at home, you're going to want to check it after about 30 minutes. You can do the toothpick test, or I had a clear plastic fork that I used. Just make sure it's done in the middle. Let it sit for a few minutes after you bring it out of the oven. I can tell that it's already golden brown around the edges and it's starting to brown on the top. So I believe it's done. Alright, now we're going to put the muffins. Don't they look pretty? So I had to put my little muffin cups in a smaller pan because the other pan I was trying to use did not fit. It was a little too wide. So here are our muffins. Okay, we're going to cook these for about 25 minutes. I don't think they're going to take as long as the casserole did, just because they're smaller pieces. Okay, we are going to do a taste test of our casserole. Have to excuse our dog barking out there. I guess she wants some too, but she can't have any. Ooh, okay, that's hot. And the time that it took this to cook, it was the perfect amount of time for me to get the dishes washed and to start on an adult beverage. A little taste for Tony. It's very hot. And a little taste for me. Oh, and we forgot the sour cream. It's really good with sour cream on top, and also salsa is good on top of it too. You can see all the jalapeno pieces in there, the sausage, the cheese. Oh yes, that's gonna be yummy. Okay, so it's been 25 minutes for the muffins. We're going to check them. They are coming along nicely. And you can see that Tony and I have been eating out of this pan. And this is very spicy. I do not recommend putting more than one layer of jalapenos. You can if you want to. It does help, and it is so yummy, to add a little dollop of sour cream to what you're eating. These are very easy. They're probably too hot right now, but they come right out of these muffin cups. It's already starting to separate from the sides. These are really hot. I love these little silicone muffin cups. They are awesome. We're going to let these cool a little bit, Okay. These have cooled off a little bit. The eggs have set up a little bit. They're still nice and hot, not too hot to touch. Like I said, I love these silicone cups. They just pop right out. Put a little dollop of sour cream on these. Maybe. This sour cream, oh, it just makes it, it's just the finishing touch. They're so yummy. Here you go. For you. One for me. Cheers. So good. Very, very good. If you have any questions, please let me know. Comment below. I will put a list of the ingredients, the 4 main ingredients, down below. Please like, subscribe, comment, and let us know what you'd like to see more of from me or Tony. So more how-tos, something else you'd like for me to cook, just please let us know down below. Thanks. Put them in the oven. We're still at 350. I hope, oh, this thing is not going to fit. It's not. It doesn't fit.